This chapter picks up from where the first chapter left off, and we see the continuation of Jessica's conversation with the Reverend Mother, and basically Jessica's being chided, let's say, for they bring up this whole thing about the Bene Gesserits, right, and how Jessica was supposed to um, she was supposed to give birth to a daughter. She was supposed to bring forth a daughter, not a son. Um, Jessica instead went more with the wishes of the Duke, in in theory, right? And so ended up giving birth to a son. But that's not what the Order wanted. The Order, at least this is how I'm interpreting it. I could be totally off base here, but it seems to me that the Order of Bene Gesserits wanted a daughter, wanted someone to continue that, and this is not what happened. And now, you know, the idea, of course, is that Paul is supposed to be the Kwisatz Haderach, right? And there is, however, a doubt about that. The Reverend Mother casts some aspersions on. I mean, he still hasn't completed all of it. He still hasn't. He may have passed the test with the box, and that's fine, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he truly is the Kwisatz Haderach. Perhaps he isn't. There is, of course, the matter of the mind-bending drugs that everyone has taken and died, right? So, here we continue with more of this exploration of who Paul is, what his destiny is, packed with information, maybe not packed with action, but definitely packed with information. I enjoyed the detail that Paul is called in once again, to talk with the Reverend Mother and speak to her of his dreams, right? And there is the mention of a dream he had, a vision. He tells the Reverend Mother of a dream that he's had of a girl with piercing blue eyes. And in this dream, it doesn't really make sense to him because she asks Paul to tell her of his homeworld of Usul or Usul, his homeworld of Usul, right? And he's saying, but my homeworld is not Usul, my homeworld is Caladan, or what's this all about, right? So we're getting into that whole mystical thing with the prophecies and the visions and all of that. So once again, I'm putting it out of my mind. Let's remember, I'm pretending that I have not seen the movie, so I don't know what any of this is, and so on. She asks me to tell her about the waters, and I take her hand, and I say I'll tell her a poem, and I tell her the poem, but I have to explain some of the words, like beach, and surf, and seaweed, and seagulls. This is interesting, the fact that this girl from Paul's dream doesn't know what these things are. Just the implication being that she's unfamiliar with the concept of marine life, with the concept of the oceans. And although it hasn't gotten into it yet, as far as the book is concerned, the idea of Dune, Arrakis is the planet, right? Dune, the desert planet. The idea of it's all sand, there's no water anywhere. The idea of people not being so unfamiliar with marine life that even things as simple as beach or seaweed or whatever else, these concepts are completely alien to them. I find that kind of compelling. This is all very cool. The dream imagery is very compelling and interesting, of course, in this chapter, and all very intriguing. But what I really find intriguing are two things here, because they discuss Duke Leto Atreides. We're 30 pages in, and we still haven't met Duke Leto Atreides, right? And we're hearing about him. They're building it up, and I guess he's going to be a very important character when he comes into play. But what I found interesting was when they touch upon that, because we just previously we saw that the Baron Harkonnen has a plot to assassinate him. This plot involves Jessica, in some fashion. We don't know yet what exactly that is, but it's interesting. And then, there seems to be a sense here, because Paul seems to sense that his family is in danger, that there is this conflict happening. It's clearly something that's very present. And when he discusses it with the Reverend Mother, the talk of what is being done to protect his father or aid his father in some way. And basically what I am to understand here, the Reverend Mother is essentially saying we're going to do nothing to protect them or aid him. This is not, we are not going to step in. We're not going to interfere with that. She makes it clear. She makes it clear that there is no purpose, there is no intention in protecting Duke Leto Atreides. The implication of that is, of course, that if he is fated to die, so be it. There's this conflict where you have Duke Leto Atreides, who you would think is a leader, is a respected figure, perhaps even a cherished figure. You would think that, but it's not quite so simple. And the fact that they're not willing to necessarily protect him, they're all very much. I get the sense that this is all very much about fate, about destiny, and the Reverend Mother and the Order of the Bene Gesserits and all of this. Their intention, they just need to make sure that everything is sort of in place and the order of things is. There's a sanctity to all of this, a sacred trust of sorts, and so yeah, a lot of interesting politicking going on at this point. And I find that conflict to be very interesting. The conflict of there being doubt as far as what Paul's destiny really is, and the fact that the Reverend Mother, the Order of the Bene Gesserits, are not entirely pleased with the way things are turning out. Things aren't going according to their plan, and that's intriguing to me. So you learn a little bit about the Order of the Bene Gesserits, and there's one particular element that I thought was kind of interesting. When Jessica was saying, yes, she says, these are her words, "I am Bene Gesserit, I exist only to serve." And, that idea, that she exists only to serve. And as we've seen before, she's never described as the wife of the Duke. She is the concubine of the Duke. So these concepts are intriguing to me, that this isn't a traditional thing where you have, a Duke and a Duchess and, royalty. It's not structured in a traditional way. And yet, Lady Jessica is a sacred figure. She's part of the Order of the Bene Gesserits. There is something very important about her. This is all very, very eerie and sinister and strange, and these are elements that make it very compelling and very absorbing. And I gotta say, I'm sucked in. I really am sucked in. I began this project looking at it a bit as almost like a chore, but now that I'm determined to do this, it's coming off a lot more. It's very pleasurable and very absorbing. I'm really liking this. I haven't needed to consult the glossary just yet. I haven't felt the need, because as I said, all these weird terms and all these things are they're kind of self-explanatory. You can contextually get it, and ultimately, yeah. I really like the complexities here. The fact that everything is a little shaky, a little eerie. You're not sure who to trust. Paul is presumably, you would think he is in a place of safety, right? But we clearly see that no, the things are uncertain. His fate is uncertain. His destiny is uncertain. His father's fate is uncertain. Jessica is being looked at with disdain by her order, and so on. So all of these things create a general feeling of unease, a general feeling of conflict, and there's an edge to that makes this a very intriguing piece. And I really like that. I like the character of this story. I like the way things kind of fall into place, and how things are left a little bit shaky. So, yeah, we're moving along. It's happening, and I'm enjoying it so far. Those are my comments on what I've been reading so far, and I would appreciate comments on your end. Feel free to leave me a comment. And we'll keep doing this. I'll see you tomorrow.